Thank you for joining me today for this session. The first thing I would love to ask you is basically how business is going and what you see as being recent market trends on your different markets. So mostly UK, Southern Europe for you. So I don't know who wants to start.
I'll start. Afternoon, everybody. Very bright in here. Which I think brings us on to the trading conditions that we're seeing in the UK. I think we're seeing travel returning. Last year we saw travel coming back, which was good news, but a lot of disruption softened the market. This year we've seen less of that. We've seen, I think, volumes coming back very close to 2019 levels. We've seen value trading through coming over that. Probably somewhere in the region on a like-for-like basis, we're seeing about 60% up on last year. But we are seeing many more opportunities opening up for customers to travel, so they can travel to places that they couldn't do last year. And we're starting to see people taking advantage of that.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. What about you?
Well, in our case, first of all, hello to everyone, and thank you for having me. In our case, our group is mainly concentrated in Italy and also with a very strong presence in Spain and Portugal and other source markets as UK. The last 3 years, what I learned is that the answer, I don't know, is not that bad because it's, uncertainty is something that is now in our daily basis. If we look at the number that we have today, we see a very promising summer. I think we have a lot of booking that we have received earlier than other seasons. Of course, we are over 22 and very close to 19. Which is important is that the average spends for customer is higher than used to be in 2019, and this allow us to have a better margin, which is also very necessary. But it's true that we saw the last 3 weeks that the market slowed down a little bit. Of course, with all that we have in advance bookings, we are expecting still a great summer, but we want to be more, let's say, more relaxed on our expectation than we were 3 weeks before.
Okay. Okay. Let's deep dive in the in-package world. So why and who are the travelers who are interested in package nowadays?
The great news, I think, for our business is that COVID trained customers to value the reassurance and the safety of the European travel directives. So, when in COVID times people were having to cancel holidays, it became very clear that it was much easier to do that if you'd booked it through a package holiday provider. And I think that's still there, even though this year we're seeing very little in the way of disruption. In the back of people's minds, I think, is a need for some reassurance. I think the other thing, though, that package holidays are moving towards providing is not just taking people to a destination, but actually trying to provide a holiday. So not just the flight and the hotel and the transfers, but actually working through why are people going to those destinations and what can we do for them in those destinations. So I think that there's still quite a lot of upside in the package business, notwithstanding the regulation that's around it.
What's your take on that?
I'm very happy that you see it this way. Our group is mainly a tour operator, and we are based in Italy, which is still a very traditional market for tour operating. So we are very confident on the strengths of the tour operating. In our case, we are a vertical group, so we are providing the full journey experience because we have our own airline, our own DMC to provide those experiences in the destination that make your holidays different to the holiday that other passenger can spend in the same destination. And we want to think that what happened the last 2 years with the COVID has reinforced the model, because at the end of the day, we, in certain way, we are providing security, and this is something that our clients saw during the pandemic, because those travelers that were traveling during the pandemic were attended and were supported by the tour operator, which is something that in certain cases with independent travel, they have to look for their own way to return back home. And also we realized that clients need more information now when they travel to the destination. They want to understand better where they are traveling, and they want to prepare better the experience. I think that the people during the pandemic, they realized that you have to make the most from all the experiences, and in this sense, the tour operator is a good advisor for them to prepare and to make sure that the holiday will be what they are expecting.
Okay. If we make the difference between prepackaged and online dynamic packaging, do you think they address different kind of persona, or are they relating to different kind of persona?
I don't think so, no. I think customers don't see the difference. I think what it translates to is the range of the offer that you can give to a customer if you are able to dynamically package, which is generally wider. And you can allow the customer probably a more dynamic approach to searching. But I think that the static versus dynamic debate is largely an internal debate within the travel business, and is of passing interest to customers.
Yeah, in my opinion, is dynamic or static is more a question of technology, is a means. But at the end, the concept is more or less the same. In our case, we are linking the promises of your experience to the brand. So our client book certain brand expecting something in a style of holidays. No, we have a brand very close to the families, a brand very close to the luxury, one which is very close to the independent traveler that want freedom. No? So I think that regardless the tool they use, and regardless the technology that we have to use to make more efficient and more attractive our proposal, there is no such difference.
Okay. Before moving into the technology aspect of things, can I ask you about sustainability? How do you integrate the concerns for sustainability of the clients in your offering?
Yeah. Well, in our case, sustainability is core in the company. It's part of the criteria that we use for making any kind of decision. It's compulsory for the sector. We are living from destinations, so we need to pamper the destination, the citizens living in those destinations. We have to take care of the culture that we are offering, also take care of the environment that where we are doing our business. So it's essentially part of this. And together with all the independent movement that or initiative that each division has to develop internally in the group, we have one global, which is Green and Human. Is a movement that we launched precisely during the pandemic, and now we launched together with Apple Leisure Group and with Viajes El Corte Inglés, and it's something that, at least in Spain, that is where we have started, is joining or is gathering the big companies. We have Iberia, Iberostar, Bahia Principe, all the big companies, and Portaventura, and step by step we are implementing the big actor. This is a good sign because demonstrate the responsibility and the understanding of the sector that we have a duty on this. And the idea of Green and Human is not only transforming our own activity as big companies, but also involving the medium-sized and small-sized companies. If we consider that less than the 20% of the value chain is composed by big companies, if we really want to transform the industry and the sector and our activity in a more sustainable activity, we have to involve also the medium-sized and the small-sized company that they don't have the resources and the measure. And this is the willing of Green and Human, transforming the activity of of the sector.
Yeah, and I suppose our job as the distribution agent is to bring that to life for the customer.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, customers think it's very important. The problem that most customers in the UK, and I should say we don't just trade in the UK, we also trade in Holland and in Belgium, and universally customers want to understand the sustainability and the impact and the environment of the holidays they take. They do find that that's quite hard to do. And I think they find it hard to do for two reasons. One is it's difficult to see all of the good work that you guys are doing from the UK, right? We need a way of describing it and bringing it to life to our customers. And in order to do that, we need some universal standards and some common adherence to them. And that, while it's coming, and you and I talked about that offline, it's not so crystal clear that a customer can look at a sustainability metric and select the one that they want to buy into.
You are completely right, Alan. It's one of the big challenges that we have. We have to teach, and we have to inform properly, and we have to follow certain rules, and on top of the regulation. No? I think we have the SDG from the United Nations that is a good guide, but at the end we have to do something more tangible for the final consumer that they can easily understand if you are developing your activity in a sustainable way. But completely 100%.
We should find a way of working together on that.
Yes, we will.
Back to technology then. The dynamic pricing, dynamic packaging will bring some challenges, I assume, or maybe a revamp, redefine the way you approach business partners relationship. Where do you see the biggest hurdle and the biggest opportunities?
Please, Sarah.
I mean, as pricing becomes more dynamic, and actually as the software develops that allows both hoteliers and airlines to be able to dynamically price, the ability to put that price in front of a customer in the most meaningful fashion, which I think means as quickly as possible, is something that dynamic pricing allows us to do. And so dynamic packaging is a vehicle that allows us to do that. Typically, that's hindered by the number of intermediaries in the way. So typically, you've got all of these technology players that are linking the distribution to the supply side.
Yep.
The more seamless we can make it, and the more steps we can take out of that, I think the better for all of us in the industry. The more that we can reflect the dynamism of the pricing that hoteliers and airlines want to bring, and actually give the customer the widest choice as quickly as possible. So I think it's an important dynamic, and I think it's one of those things that's evolving. You can see the technical standards developing, you can see people applying more and more of them. As a previous speaker said, some of them are evolving faster than others. You know, some of them have been taking a long time to get there. But I think that once you can make the economic outcome very clear, in other words, the ability to yield the hotel room and the flight is becoming clearer and clearer in terms of value, then people will invest in taking out all of the intermediary steps.
Yep, 100% with you again, Alan. No, I think, and coming back to my previous answer, it's a matter of using properly the technology rather than allowing the technology to change your business model. No? In our case, technology goes in two main directions. One is when you speak about dynamic packaging, it's completely compulsory to make sure that you are receiving the best from your provider. Otherwise, you are out of the game, because they are already dynamic, hotels, airline, everything.
Sure.
So even in the model of the traditional tour operator, that we negotiate big amount of allotment, and even in certain cases we take the full property and we have an agreement with the hotel for a fixed rate. In any case, the relationship becomes in certain moment becomes dynamic, and you need the technology to follow this velocity of the rate. On the other hand, for us, technology, we are in a very reduced margin model. Tour operating is something inherent to our model. and we need the technology to reduce the cost, to reduce the impact of the operational and back office procedures, and this is something that we are investing even more than in distribution. I understand that in your case you are more ODA and you are more technological. In our case, we really need to invest in the back office, not for saving money and reducing position, is to being able of capture all the business and all the opportunities and the volume that this generate in the transaction.
Yeah. And I actually think it's almost a facet of when did you build your tech stack? We built it 2 years ago, so it looks like it takes advantage of all of the opportunities to not have to pre-calculate every single price because you can't calculate them fast enough. The machines that we're now working with can calculate the price really quickly, so you don't need to have all of these pre-calculations done, which in terms of cost savings is pretty significant.
Yeah.
So from running a company perspective, that's a real advantage to have sort of put a tech stack in place in the last couple of years, which allows us to have a much reduced cost to serve.
Yeah.
And supporting conversion, I assume, as well, from the customer point of view.
Yeah.
Well, there's the range there.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
find anything.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't do a good job if we were not mentioning ChatGPT and AI. Has to. So where do you see this integrating your business model?
Well, I mean, we, as everybody else, are running a bunch of trials to see where it fits. I mean, clearly the generation of content based on legions of previously generated content is interesting to us. Doing that in a multilingual environment, also very interesting. Looking to see, actually, maybe looking a little bit further out, starting to think about how customers are going to want to search for things, search for holidays and what's important to them. And I think in a much more natural language interface, being able to see the things that are important to them as they search for it. I mean, we ran a bunch of trials where we actually ran a bit of a free format Google format. Just type in whatever was important to you and keep typing and we'll start throwing holidays out to you. And experimenting with things like that, I think is very attractive as we start to think through where it will go.
Yeah, well, I think it's something that we have to follow very close. Still is too soon. I think that there is a big bubble. We are very good in this industry to create this high expectation, and then the implementation is completely different. Happens 2 years ago with the metaverse, that people were supposed to stop traveling because they were start to travel in metaverse, and now with the artificial intelligence, seems that everybody will go directly to ChatGPT and will find the perfect recommendation, and they don't need nor the travel agency or tour operator. I don't think this happened this way. Will be something to follow very close and to use, but will take time.
Yeah, I think you're still going to need the hotel.
Yeah.
You're still going to need the means of getting there.
Exactly.
And you still need to go to work out what you want to do on holiday.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think the business
Absolutely.
is still
And the CEOs, please.
Well, thank you very much for joining joining us today. We're just running out of time. So thank you very much for your time, sharing all this with the audience. And
Pleasure.
have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.